Minecraft the movie. Fucking hell, dude. You know what? For the first act of Minecraft, like the first 20 minutes, half hour, like before they go through the portal to Minecraft world, basically, I was actually chuckling quite a bit. I was laughing a lot more than I thought I would, but I was more laughing at it than with it, because it was so fucking stupid and ridiculous and rushed. Like, the fast pace of it, the fact that the dialogue was so fucking inane, the characters were ridiculous, all their takes and performances were just so over the top. And it was all moving so quickly that it had a compounding effect where I was just like... I was actually laughing. Even though I was laughing at it. But I remember thinking, like, if the movie makes me laugh like this for the entire duration of the film, even though it's a bad movie, I would be happy having laughed consistently for 2 hours. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be sore about spending the money. So I was actually kind of looking forward to the rest of it. I'm like, I hope the rest of the movie is this fucking stupid. Where I can at least laugh at how stupid and over the top it is. But, the novelty wore off, man. Like, once they get into Minecraft world, and then... like, as soon as they get into the overworld, it becomes really predictable, but in an acceptable way. Where it's like, okay, they're in the overworld, and it's bright, and it's beautiful, and everything's fine. And then, you know, night is gonna fall, and then it's like, oh no, the monsters come out, and then they gotta run away, and then the kid needs to use his ingenuity to build a house and save the others. And at some point, Jack's gonna show up. And it's just like, I saw all that coming, but it's like, you need to do that, right? Because that's the game. That's the way the game goes. You know, you boot up Minecraft, the terrain is all procedurally generated, and then, you know, you run around and you figure out the controls and you figure out what you're supposed to do, and you realize that you can, like, break apart trees and put down blocks. And then you make a really crude house to begin with. And then on the first night, it's just about building the simplest structure to protect yourself, and then you realize that you can refine those, I need a better weapon for this. You can refine those, things that you pick up into, like, more nuanced elements, like flat wooden boards for a floor, for instance, or, like planks of wood. So you can make a structure that's more elegant instead of just building a house out of square tree trunks. And, you know, the first night goes by and you realize there's monsters, and then you fend them off and you shelter yourself, and then there's a new day and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna take this a bit more seriously. I'll know a little bit more about what I'm supposed to do. And so you gotta have that bit in the movie, right? So I accept all that. But then beyond that, it just became then predictable in a bad way, where it was all just, the plot was just very paint by numbers. Like, you know, they go to the village, and then bad guys show up, and then you get a bit of a, you know, backstory of the villain, and it's all just like, yeah, we're doing that, yeah, okay, yeah, we're setting up this. I wouldn't even mind the predictable plot structure so much if the dialogue and the plotting wasn't so lazily considered and written. Like, for a movie that's about boundless imagination, there's a shocking lack of imagination in the movie. And a lot of plot elements are, like, lazily set up and paid off. Like, they do kind of a proper setup with the Enderman. And Steve establishes that, like, you kill Endermen to get an Ender Pearl, which is an actual game object that lets you teleport to wherever you throw it. And it's just like, okay, the kid's gonna use that somehow. I was okay with the setup, but the payoff was so fucking lame, because when he fights the Enderman does this, like, psychological thing to the kid where it's just like, nobody cares about you, everyone actually thinks you suck, bro. But it looks like it doesn't really have any effect on the kid at all, so it's just like, why even bother doing that? And then he just swipes his sword a bunch of times and then kills it, and then he's gone. And it's just like, well, that was it? Okay. So that was a weak payoff, and there's a bunch of weak payoffs. Jason Momoa just, like, ends up screaming a lot. And it's like, oh, and he's doing it all in his little pink jacket. Isn't that so wacky and fun?
There's a path carved into the cliffs.
And, like, every single delivery of, like, a line, particularly from Jack Black or Jason Momoa, is just so fucking extra and over the top. I kind of expect that to a degree from Jack Black, obviously, because that's just the kind of thing he does well, but he's just so fucking extra in every shot that he's in. Not even every scene, every shot. And it's just like, the movie... I mean, not only is the pace so relentless that it never gives itself a chance to breathe.
What's that?
You can't... There's no opportunity to take anything or any of the characters seriously. The whole thing is treated as a joke. And I suppose maybe to a degree that is the way to... Like, what is the proper way to make a Minecraft movie? You know what I mean? Do you just approach the whole thing like it's a big joke and there's, like, no real stakes or emotion to it? I mean, you think there'd be a little bit of heart to it. And there is, like, a tiny bit with, like, the kid and his sister. But the material, there's not enough dialogue there for you to get invested in those characters, despite the fact that I think their performances were actually decent. And they had the potential to really shine. So I think they were skilled actors, the two kids, the young boy and the sister. But the material lets them down. It doesn't give them an opportunity to, like, deliver any kind of powerful performance. The dialogue is just so lazy. They have, like, one brief emotional moment where the sister's like, I'm sorry that the bad things happened to you. And the boy's like, I'm sorry too, or something. That's, like, the one emotional part in the movie that you're meant to take kind of seriously, but then it just goes away so quickly. I mean, you don't want to linger on that stuff for too long, because you do want the movie to be fun overall, but there's just no... It feels like there's no real heart to the movie at all. There's kind of a good message by the end of it, because, like, the message of the movie is basically... Minecraft, the world of Minecraft is fun, but don't spend all your time there. Like, bring the ingenuity that you have to offer, your creativity into the real world and build real things too. Don't just waste all your time in Minecraft. And that's sort of the arc that Steve has, where he's, like, at first, he has like at the end, he has an opportunity to go through the portal and join the others to go back to Earth. Spoilers, by the way, but I assume nobody gives a fuck. And he's just like, oh, I'm just gonna hang out here and build some more shit in Minecraft. And then the humans are like, okay, well, we're gonna go to the real world, see ya. And then he has pause for thought, and he's like, you know what, fuck it. And then he goes to the real world. So that's, like, his arc, is realizing, like, this is all just, like, some fake, weird cartoon world. You know, I should go back to the real world, now that I have the opportunity, and make a real difference in my real life and other people's real lives. And not just piss all my time away here. So I like the messaging at the core of it, but it's very shallow. In terms of execution and just... Yeah, I'm okay with the message, but just the execution of it was way too, like thin and straightforward. And lazy. And, like, Jason Momoa's character, Garrett, I think it is, he has this little arc where he's, like... His character is, like, he's this 1980s retro gaming champion, and now he's old, and he's... Is this where I started from? Oh, fuck. Where the fuck am I going?
the Arbiter dies,
Yeah, I must be. I think this is where we started, isn't it? I have no fucking idea where I'm going. I'm bad at talking and playing at the same time, in case you didn't notice, but whatever.
That would be a very
I figure you guys are
short
listening
shootout.
more to my Minecraft rant than watching me play. So Garrett has this arc where he's like, he clings to his success as a retro gaming champion, but he like doesn't have any friends, and he owns this like video game like retro store that's failed. Like he's not making any money, he's broke. He goes to this auction, and like he thinks he's getting an Atari Cosmos console, which I don't remember the Cosmos being a real Atari system. It might have just been made up for the movie. But in either case, he thinks he's getting that in the auction, and it's actually just the box. And it's like, he gets it, and it's like, he signs the check over, and he's like, there's no console in here. He empties it out, and there's just a bunch of junk in it. And the guy, the auctioneer, who's played by, I can't remember his name, but he was in Flight of the Conchords. He's just like, oh, I didn't check the box. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? And for some reason, Garrett feels like, because he already handed the check over, it's just like, oh, well, it's his money now. It's like, well, you didn't get what you paid for. I guess it's kind of a gray area, because I guess the auction was like everything that was sort of taken from Steve's house, because Steve has been like absent from the real world this whole time, right? Because he's like been trapped. The pigs got him in the netherworld, and he's trapped in a cage or something. And then he gave, like, he made a dog friend in Minecraft, the overworld, and he called him Dennis. And then he gets captured by the pigs, and then Dennis escapes, and Steve gives him the cube, and he's like, go hide this in the real world and make sure no one finds it. So no one else uses the cube to, like, get stuck in here like I did. Fuck.
Easy, Spartan.
Somebody give me a rifle. Fuck's sake. Or maybe we can go around this way. And so, Steve is like, hide the cube under my bed. And the dog does that. And then Steve, in narration, is like, oh, that was a terrible place to tell him to hide that cube. And it's like, yeah? Maybe you should have thought of something better. Maybe the writer should have thought of something more clever than that, but they gotta make it easy for the fucking main, you know, troop of main characters to find the cube and get into the Minecraft world. And the way that opening the portal works is so fucking, like, brain dead, where it's like, there's like a cube shell and an inner cube. And for some reason, nobody thinks to put the cube in the cube shell until the moment in the screenplay, basically, where it has to happen. And it's also accompanied by a note that nobody decides to read until the time comes where it's like time in the screenplay for them to go to fucking Minecraft world. Like, just all of a sudden, Garrett realizes, oh, there's this note here that he would have been aware of. It's like, why are you just fucking reading it now? Like, that was stupid. But shit like that was making me laugh. You know, I was just like, this is so fucking dumb and lazy and rushed. Like, I can't believe how stupid this is. And I was chuckling. And I was just like, I hope I keep laughing like this. If I laugh like this all the way through, even if it is dumb as fuck, I'll be okay with this. Tell me I'm going the right way. I'm going backwards again, aren't I? Fuck this level. Sorry, guys. Fuck's sake. What is this, like a donut-shaped fucking arena? Is this a multiplayer? Is this a multiplayer map? God almighty. Sorry, guys. I'm very single-track minded. It's hard for me to focus on one thing and do another. So what other garbage happens? What did I miss? So yeah, there's just a bunch of dumb, lazy jokes. there's a side plot where a villager leaves Minecraft world to go into he goes into the real world and just starts wandering around. And he gets hit by a car, and Jennifer Coolidge, who, if you don't know, she's famous for playing Stifler's mom in American Pie. She shows up, she hits the villager with her car. And she's like, "Oh no, would you like to come out to dinner with me?" And then they go to dinner, and they don't even do anything funny with it. It's just this one-note gag where she's just like smitten by this weird-looking creature. Oh, a carbine, thank fucking Christ. And then the villager just makes these weird fucking noises, like, and she's just like over the moon with this guy. And there's not even any like jokes beyond that. There's no punchline. It's just like him making weird noises. And so they stretch this gag so fucking thin, and they use it as an intercut device to break up the A-plot. The A-plot being like the 4 people that are stuck in the overworld. And then, you know, it occasionally cuts to the B-plot, if you want to call it a plot, of Jennifer Coolidge going out to dinner with a villager. And they cut back to the same dinner scene twice. And it's just like, fuck, we did this joke already. It wasn't even a joke the first time. It wasn't even funny the first time, and we're still in this fucking dinner scene. We're still in this restaurant. Time has progressed in the A-plot, but it's like time is frozen in the B-plot on this thing that isn't even that fucking funny. It's not even funny at all, really. Other than the, like, immediate stupidity of the villager just sitting there going, and the waitress doesn't even react. I mean, there's this weird fucking alien, basically, that shows up, and nobody bats an eye. And that's another thing. The whole fucking aesthetic with the movie. It's like... They went with, like... I mean, obviously, you gotta make everything, like, cubic, like the video game. But then they mesh that with, like, a detailed, realistic aesthetic. Where, like... There's like complexion in the flesh and stuff, and people there's like fur and eyebrows and stuff, like, and there's sort of a plumpiness to everything while everything is basically cube shaped, and it just looks like some people have described it as nightmare fuel because it's such a weird clash of aesthetics, and it's like, why the fuck would you make it this way? Why not just do it all CGI and make it look more like the game? I mean, just do it like a Source filmmaker thing. And then I think kids would actually like that way more and would go to see it in droves if it looked more like the game. But instead you went with this really weird fucking art style that I don't think ultimately works. I mean, there might be some like surface comedic value just because it looks so bizarre. I mean, that is one of the things I kind of chuckled at. I'm like, God, this looks so terrible. What else about this fucking movie is worth talking about? Garrett has this, like, he's sort of this loser, selfish character, and then his arc is that he has this forced sacrificial moment. And he clearly gets caught in a massive explosion. But then he lives somehow at the end anyway. And everyone cheers, like, because he saves the kid at the last second from, like, falling to his death. And then, you know, it's revealed that, like, oh, Garrett's alive, and he saves the kid, and everyone's like, yeah! And it's like, how the fuck are you alive, dude? We saw you clearly get caught in that explosion. And his excuse is that, oh, I used that water bucket trick. Like, he poured some Minecraft water, and it created, like, a thin blob on the ground. And that, like, cushioned his fall. But it's just like, it wasn't the fall that killed you. It was the fucking explosion. What do you mean you used Minecraft water to save you? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, unless, like, he sort of fell off the bridge. The way the explosion scene is shot, I'm pretty sure, from my recollection, you're meant to think, like, he's clearly vaporized in that explosion. But somehow, a bucket of fucking Minecraft water helped him. He used it as a shield somehow, so it's just like... Okay, like, I already didn't give a shit about any of the stakes. There's no stakes in the movie. And it's just like, here's yet another example of why I shouldn't give a shit. Because there's no sense of stakes or consequence in the movie, ever. What else is there? There's a lot of, like, comedy, quote-unquote, that's just forced. I wish I was laughing throughout in the same way that I was laughing throughout the first act, but then, like, it lost its... what little charm it had, based on its, like, sheer absurdity, it lost pretty quickly after Act 1's ended. And then, you know, it's still, like, the paint-by-numbers thing where, like, the evil pig lady gets the cube and uses it to create, guess what? A fucking space laser that shoots into the clouds and threatens existence of the good world, and the bad guys are gonna take over. It's like, oh my god, seriously? We're doing the fucking space laser again? A big space laser shoots into space and threatens everybody. And then the cube. Like, the cube is, like, the MacGuffin, right? And then, like, somebody breaks it. I think it's Garrett. And it's like, oh shit, but then somebody says, oh, there's another one. And so, what, another one? But I think this... I think the plot's, like... oh my god, it's a fucking lazy mess. Like, because I think the reason Jack appears in the overworld in Act 2 the way he does is because he's let go by evil pig lady to go find the cube, because she knows that the cube has now re-entered the overworld and she can use it. But apparently there was another cube just in a drawer in the overworld anyway. And it's just like, why didn't she just go get that one? Can't she, like, sense the energy of the cube? Like, how did she know the first cube showed up? If she can sense the energy and knows that the initial cube has re-entered the overworld, why wouldn't she know that the second cube was there the whole time? So it's just like, did you even fucking think about this stupid-ass plot? I could be getting some details wrong, but this is all based on my recollection, okay? I could be missing some details. I wasn't paying too much attention, to be quite honest, because, I mean, it was pretty fucking dumb right off the bat.
Taking fire from that turret. Up you go, Luck.
But I'm pretty sure I got that right, and I read over the plot synopsis on Wikipedia just to, like, fill in the gaps, and apparently that is the case, that there were 2 cubes. I said, why would there be 2 cubes? Where do you draw the line? What, is there a bunch of cubes out there? Is there just the 2 cubes? And they're both, like, the same color? It's not like there's some kind of dichotomy. There's, like, a red cube and a blue cube or something. It's like they're both blue cubes. And it's like, why is there 2? Why not just keep it just 1? And, you know, retain that tension of, like, everybody going after the 1 cube instead of just pulling a second cube out of your ass as the screenwriter. So that was stupid. And then it's like, they do the typical third act thing where it's like, let's build a bunch of weapons and iron golems, or whatever they're called in Minecraft, and it's like, let's do this. And then they have a little montage where they prepare for, like, the big fight against Pig Lady, evil Pig Lady and her army. And the whole fight felt a bit rushed, and I just didn't care. It does that thing where it, like, bombards you with visuals because it's so terrified of, like, boring you. But it ends up boring you anyway because it never gives itself a chance to breathe, or gives you an opportunity, the audience, to, like, take anything seriously or get invested in anything that's happening or any of the characters.
There's an exit up here.
I got a chuckle out of... oh, fuck off. I'm glad I'm playing this on normal. Someone help! I got a chuckle out of seeing Jack Black in diamond armor. it looked really dumb, and I was just like, that's kind of funny, I guess. That quickly wore off. And then there's a gag where, like, evil pig lady is taken down, and Jack walks up to her, and you as the audience are obviously expecting, like, she's gonna do some sneak attack. And then the movie plays off that with a gag where Steve is just like, you don't have a secret dagger, do you? That you're gonna use to kill me? And she's like, no, I don't. And she keeps pulling out secret daggers, and Steve keeps slapping them away out of her hand. So she never actually does the sneak attack. I thought that was actually kind of funny. That was like the one other gag in the movie that I liked. Those two little gags. Him in the diamond armor, and then him slapping away secret, betrayal daggers. That got a little chuckle out of me, but that was it for Act 2 and 3. Everything else was boring and stupid and lazy. I mean, I didn't even need to see Garrett come back to know that, like, you know, as soon as I saw him vaporize in the explosion, I'm like, this movie's so fucking stupid that, like, even though it looks like he clearly died in the explosion, obviously they're gonna pull something out of their ass and they're gonna bring him back, because they're not gonna kill him off in a movie like this. It's a kid's movie, and they want to have the heroic moment where he comes back and saves the day, and he's not such a bad guy after all. Like, of course they're gonna do that, but it's just like the way they did it was so fucking dumb.
Ammo up, Osiris.
You can do like a cool... I think it's possible to make a good Minecraft movie with like good plotting and good setups and good payoffs and like thoughtful dialogue writing. But this movie doesn't do that. I got most of my chuckles out of the first act, and I got a few little laughs here and there throughout Act 2 and 3, but barely any.
If they kill the Arbiter, they'll be well on their way.
I already talked about the ending. I like the message, but it's just... The conclusion of the arcs weren't too bad. Like the fact that the kid goes back into the real world and he becomes like an engineer, and he's making circuit boards, and he builds a jetpack somehow. I mean, that's a bit of a stretch, building a jetpack at his age, but it's just like, whatever, dude. He's like an engineer. He's like a whiz engineer kid, and he made a cool thing. Like, that's all you're really meant to draw from that, so whatever. It's dumb, but I'm okay with that. Fucking hell, what else? The B plot of Stifler's mom going out with the fucking villager is like sort of paid off in a really half-assed way with a weak mid-credits gag where... Actually, I'm not even sure if the gag was funny because I had tuned out at that point. I think I was looking at my phone. I was sort of half listening, but I think it was a pretty weak mid-credits gag that they did. And then in the end credits, you see that Steve meets up with Alex, like a live-action Alex in the real world, and Alex is like the other. There's like a bunch of like main Avatar characters in the Minecraft game. I think there's like 8 of them, and Steve and Alex are like the main boy and girl, right? So that's like the big end credits, you know, after credits scene is like he meets Alex, and then it's just like, oh, where could it go from here? But you don't even care because the movie's so fucking dumb. I'm not even sure they'll make... The only way they'll make a sequel to this is if it makes enough money, because it's certainly not going to be based off of reviews, because I think it's getting panned left and right. Some kids enjoy it, I guess, and that's fine. If kids actually get a laugh out of it and they have a good time at the theater for 2 hours, and they, you know, because some kids just enjoy it on that level, where it's just like, oh, there's the creeper, you know, oh, cool, the skeletons show up, oh, the spiders. Oh, like, I remember that from the game, that's cool. If they enjoy it on that level, that's totally fine. But I think kids deserve better movies, man. Because I grew up on way better movies. I mean, in my day, we had the Disney animated classics, you know? Like, all of those movies. And we had, like, the Don Bluth movies, like fucking Secret of NIMH, and, you know, American Tail or Land Before Time. I mean, the kind of movies where like you can watch them today as an adult and still be blown away by how fucking good they are, you know? And it's just like, why can't kids get movies like that? The movie doesn't have to be dog shit just because it's a kid's movie, you know? Like, that's frustrating. Like, will someone please, like, just get... How hard is it to find a fucking Hollywood writer that's actually gonna put some thought into... A fair amount of thought into this, into a Minecraft movie? You know? It doesn't have to be dog shit. I might have missed some things, but there you go. That's my Minecraft movie rant. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like.